game of the weekend is, of course, the Steel City derby between Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday at Sunday lunchtime. We usually pick the Friday night kickoff as our game of the weekend, but this was a no-brainer. It's a proper how's your mother, Justin. So here's how it's looking with SBK. Sheffield United are the 10-11 favourites to win. Sheffield Wednesday are 3-1 to win. The draw is 5-1. It's the first Steel City derby in over 5.5 years, Justin. 5.5 years. It seems a bit mad that it's been that long, doesn't it? We've not covered one in the time we've been doing this podcast, actually, which seems mad.
Yeah, it does seem mad. We pretty much covered every single derby, or the big ones anyway, haven't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite bonkers that we've not done the Steel City yet, but yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. It's going to be worth the wait, or you hope it's going to be worth the wait at the very least. Especially considering the games that these two teams have produced in years gone by. But I think it's quite a significant game in terms of the timing of it, considering that we're in November, it's a derby, you've got Sheffield United just getting going, and Sheffield Wednesday needing to get more positive results on the board to keep pushing themselves up the table. So yeah, timing could not be better on this one.
Yeah, well, it's one of the biggest derbies in the country, isn't it? I think everyone accepts that. So it's about time that we had one. I was watching a documentary on Sky about the Steel City derby, and it really, really got me pumped up for this one. I mean, I was pumped up anyway, but it took my whole pumped levels really, really to a new notch. And I've enjoyed being a neutral, looking at social media this past week at the nerves from the two sets of fans, because they are both bloody nervous ahead of this one. Because this is one of those rare derbies, isn't it, Justin, where it's two teams of a similar size in the same city. It sounds strange, but when you really think about it, that is a very unique thing, isn't it?
Yeah. You got Stoke Port Vale, who are vastly different sized clubs.
The only real comparison you can make is Manchester, Liverpool. I'm trying to think if there's any others. Obviously London, but there's a million teams in London. There isn't really any others, because first of all, it's quite rare to have two professional teams in one city. But then the other examples like Stoke, Nottingham, you've got one team who's on a completely different plane to the other, where that's not the case here.
No, it's quite remarkable, isn't it? And I think it's befitting of both sets of supporters that they are such well supported and passionate fan bases as well. They're not dribbling into the stadium, are they? They're not supporting them in low numbers. They pack their stadiums out, and they really do bring the atmosphere, which is what makes this Steel City derby so unique in that sense. It's arguably one of the biggest in the Championship, or the biggest in the Championship. And yeah, they don't come across each other very often. It's quite incredible. But like I said a moment ago, that's only going to add to the atmosphere and the ferocity of this game.
Yeah, it's one city, Justin. One city where you live next door to a fan of the other club. You work with fans of the other club. Your girlfriend's dad is a fan of the other club. This is what it's all about. And I am so blooming excited for this game on Sunday. And of course, the reasons why these two haven't faced each other in a while is because United have spent a lot of time in the Premier League. Wednesday have spent a lot of time in League One. And now they're both eyeing up promotion, Justin.
Yeah, they're both eyeing up promotion. I know Sheffield United certainly will be pushing for the top six, and that would be the expectation. Whereas Wednesday probably looking at more of an aspirational push of the playoffs. But
no, I'd say Sheffield United pushing for the top two. Sheffield Wednesday will fancy their chances of getting in the top six. Whether it's likely or not is up for a debate for another day. But they'll definitely be fancying the top six, won't they?
They'll be looking at it with aspirations, but whether or not the expectation is there to get to it is another thing. But certainly with Danny Rule in charge, they've got a good, ambitious coach who's going to push that club higher and higher. So yeah, there's certainly going to be a time where they're going to compete. Whether it's this season or not is another question. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Wednesday have had to turn things around very quickly in terms of the squad. Obviously coming up from League One, being not very well equipped last season to completely turn things around in the summer with Danny Rule in charge. But as I say, I think the perception around the club just completely changes, because you go from looking over your shoulder to looking up, and then Sheffield United, as we know, are one of those teams looking up, and it's going to be an incredible game.
Oh, absolutely. And Sheffield United will be thinking this has come for them just at the right time, because they're in great form. fully fit squad, growing in confidence, new signings properly bedded in now. They couldn't really ask for any more as far as themselves are concerned. And Sheffield Wednesday, they will be well up for this, won't they? I think another reason why is because, as we were sort of alluding to just then, United have had 2 promotions since they last met each other, multiple seasons in the Premier League, not mentioning the last one, obviously. Well, Wednesday have had to put up with their rivals, having a decent level of success while they've been battling against their owner, fighting to stay up in the Championship, going down to League One, and then finally coming back up last couple of seasons ago. So their rivals have been having a decent amount of success while they've been struggling, and this is a chance for them to shut up their rivals, innit?
Yeah, just like Mark Duffy did back in 2017, 2018, but do it the other way around this time. The old silencing of the bounce, if you like, a classic amongst the derby genre. But I think this is the thing. Both clubs are absolutely massive. We've learnt a lot of chat to that, and the success of the clubs in recent years, I think, is gonna really add to the atmosphere of that, because I wouldn't say it's jealousy or even sort of an aspiration, or we need to be like Sheffield United, but there is that element that is going to make the atmosphere a little bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, where it's like Sheffield United are probably that big brother just patting Sheffield Wednesday on the head, and as you say, Wednesday fans are probably done with that. They are done with that, and they want to turn that around, and they want to get that win at Bramall Lane. Bramall Lane's been a fortress this season, so that will be even sweeter if they manage that. And as I say, it just adds to what is a great narrative heading into this game. A great narrative.
It is a great narrative, and now it's time for our second tier bet builder, where we're going to be predicting how we think the Steel City derby is going to go on Sunday. And our friends at SBK, they're offering a 25% boost on any bet builder for Sheffield United v Sheffield Wednesday. Offers like that, combined with SBK's industry leading odds, make it the best place to bet on the EFL. And if you don't believe us, sign up today and find out. As well as for this game, they're even offering a 25% boost on all bet builders for Watford versus Oxford on Friday night too. So on every previous show, we're making our own bet builder with 4 selections, all relating to our game of the week. So that's 2 for me and 2 for Justin Peach. Justin, kick us off. What is our first pick in this week's bet builder?
We've gone with Harrison Burrows to have a shot on target. Now, I know everyone's going to be like, oh, he's a left back, but he's a man in form. Is Harrison Burrows? He loves to get forward, and he's incredibly decisive, and he's been incredibly decisive on more than one occasion for the Blades this season. But his ability to get into positions where he can have a shot is actually quite remarkable. In the last 3 games, he's managed 9 shots with a shot on target in each of those last 3 games. So it is bold to suggest left wing back, our lad, not a left back, a left wing back, will have chances. But Burrows has proved to be useful in that area on more than one occasion. Scored in his last 2 games, got the winner against Bristol City in midweek. Ooh, this is a nice one.
Yeah, no Sheffield United players had more shots than him over the past 3 games. So if he keeps getting forward as much as he is and having a pop, then this definitely looks like a good pick. Peachy, my first selection for the bet builder. Bit of a surprising one, perhaps. Under 5.5 cards. Yes, that's right. Ryan Dilks' cards pick, ladies and gents. The RDCP. Look, SBK are unsurprisingly expecting cards in this one. Why wouldn't they? It's a derby. But I think it's often a false assumption that derbies will be cards fests. Yes, it will be feisty. There'll be some meaty challenges. I certainly hope there will be anyway. But I believe referees head into these games with a higher threshold of what's card worthy. And they don't want it to get out of control by giving cards for everything. And an example of that was the last Steel City derby. Not a single card was given in that one. Yes, it was a long time ago, but it sort of gives you an indicator of, not all these games are cards. Also, the referee for this is Lewis Smith. In the 17 games he's officiated this season, he's only had 2 where he's given more than 5 cards. So I wouldn't be fooled into thinking there'll be loads of cards here, Justin.
Yeah, I have written down that this is a big one, this selection. It's a derby. You've got homegrown players in both sides, which I believe, based on no evidence whatsoever, means they're more likely to get carded than a player who's not born in Sheffield. But you are right. I think that is a misconception with derbies. Like you said, the threshold becomes higher on what is a challenge that is worthy of a yellow card. So yeah, I'm willing to go with this one. And Lewis Smith, you've done your research on old Lewis Smith, the referee. Another very generic name. I'm pretty sure you make them up on a weekly basis now. But I back you.
He's a lovely lad, is obvious. He's got his hands full this weekend with this. I think another good example is the South Wales derby earlier this season, if you want a more recent example. Another game where you'd expect loads of cards. And I think there were 4, but I think they all came from some handbags right at the end of the game. So it's a bit of a misconception, I believe, anyway. But we'll certainly see this weekend, won't we? Justin, what's our next selection?
We've gone with under 3.5 goals, 3.5 goals, I should say. We had a bit of back and forth on this one. You point out to me that there's been just one Sheffield United game in the last 13 where it's been over 2.5. But because it's a derby and Wednesday have a habit of being a little bit leaky, if you like, I think 3.5 gives us a little bit of a cushion. And as I say, I think Sheffield United being at home, it being a derby, I'm expecting not a low scoring game, if you like. A 1-1, a 2-1. I think both teams will score. It's just whether or not the game will get a bit sort of not out of hand, but both teams will lose control in a defensive sense, and that's what I'm sort of alluding to here with that. But I didn't want to go too low because, as I say, I think there will be at least a response from one of the teams and a winner. So, yeah, at least a 2-1 there, maybe.
I'm not sure, Justin. I think you're being overly cautious there because it's a bigger game, big occasion. Not played each other in so long. I think there'll be some nerves, and that should lead to a game that's not the most free-flowing. Plus, the last 3 Steel City derbies have been 0-0. I'm hoping that's not the case this weekend, Justin.
Well, that's always a risk with derbies. On a Sunday fixture as well, the Sunday fixtures that have been served up in recent weeks haven't been amazing, barring 1 or 2. So this could fall into that category. But I think it being a derby, fans being up for it, and the atmosphere being pretty hot, I expect both teams to give it some. I really do.
Not sure. Anyway, final selection on the Bet Builder is this: Sheffield United to win. Start off by saying really, really looking forward to this game on Sunday. It's a really fascinating one, but I do fancy a Blades win. I've been really impressed with them in their last 3 games, bouncing back against Stoke, cruising past Blackburn, coming back against Bristol City in midweek. I think they're really showing their promotion credentials, and a win here will top off a brilliant week for Sheffield United. The perfect week, really, for them in terms of on-the-pitch matters and off-the-pitch matters as well, with their takeover looking like it's close now. But look, when all is said and done, they have a clear, stronger squad than Wednesday. I do like Wednesday, but they are a bit of a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get with them. They definitely have enough about them to get a result at Bramall Lane, do not get me wrong, and they can punish Sheffield United if they're not on it. They definitely have enough talent in their roster to really cause Sheffield United problems on Sunday. But it is impossible to ignore the sheer amount of quality that Chris Wilder's side have, and as long as they're all on it on Sunday, then they should have enough to dispatch of Sheffield Wednesday. So I'm going with the Sheffield United win. Justin, are you in agreement with me?
I am, and it's down to the fact that it's at Bramall Lane, and Blades have been absolutely brilliant at home this season. They really have. They're obviously lost to Middlesbrough and Leeds in their away games, and they switched it on and were fantastic. And replied very well against Stoke, for example. So I do think, Sheffield United being at home here makes it, I wouldn't say no-brainer, but it makes me a lot more confident that they will get the 3 points as opposed to Wednesday coming in and throwing in an upset. But it's a cliche. You've got to throw it in at least once, isn't it, when we're talking about a derby. Form goes out the window, Ryan. Come on.
It does. It does. It was in my big box of cliches. I was ready to pull it out, and you're absolutely right there. But who knows? Maybe that won't be the case here. But We'll certainly find out. I'm really looking forward to this game on Sunday. So our bet builder for the Steel City Derby is Harrison Burrows to have a shot on target under 5.5 cards, under 3.5 goals, and Sheffield United to win. Just seeing producer Finn in the background there, pumping his fists in the air in excitement because he is a big Sheffield United fan. So he'll be delighted with our bet builder, and he'll be delighted with this as well, because a £10 stake on that returns £110 thanks to SBK's 25% boost. But remember, if you don't fancy our bet builder with SBK, you can create your own bet builder for a range of markets. T's and C's apply. Over 18s only. And please do gamble responsibly. Justin, let's take a quick break. After that, we'll have a look ahead to some of the other games across the Championship on this big weekend. Welcome back to the Second Tier podcast. It's the preview show brought to you by SBK, and that means it's time for us to have a look ahead to the weekend. So in each preview episode of the Second Tier, Justin and I will each pick a banker, a team we think is guaranteed to win this coming weekend, as well as an outsider. So someone we think is going to win, but is bigger odds with our friends at SBK than their opponents. We're tracking how we do as the season goes on. It's 1 point for a correct banker, 2 points for an outsider. Whoever loses has to do a forfeit, which is to be a mascot at an EFL game next season. And the current scores look like this, ladies and gents. 13-10 to Justin Peach. A significant weekend last week, as I managed to get a full house with both my banker and outsider correct, while Justin Peach blanked, meaning I've closed the gap to 3 points, ladies and gents. He's bottling it.
It's bottling. Come off it. You've had a good weekend, that's all. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It was. Are you nervous though? I'm not nervous, no. You had a good pick in Millwall Burnley last weekend as your outsider. That was a good one. That was a great one. Mainly because that game, like most of Burnley's games, are at least destined to be 0-0. But kudos to you. Jake Cooper came up clutch for you, and that's what happens in these things. They're tight, they're difficult, but that's how it is. But I'm confident. I am still confident. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, sunshine. Don't you worry.
Okay. Well, we'll see how we get on this weekend, shall we? Justin Peach, kick us off with your banker for this coming weekend.
I've gone with Leeds to win at home to QPR on Saturday afternoon. QPR are winless in their last 11 games, with Leeds as well needing to react to their midweek defeat to Millwall. And this is a great chance to do it against a side who looked defensively very poor against Middlesbrough in midweek. Don't get me wrong, QPR weren't terrible, and 4-1 maybe a little bit of a harsh scoreline, but Borough did create a hell of a lot, and QPR fell foul to a lot of individual quality that was on display in this game. And I believe Leeds possess the same quality to undo QPR here. Be warned though, despite the heavy loss, QPR did do a good job of shutting out Burnley and Sunderland in prior games to their defeat to Middlesbrough. But Leeds at home, surely the stronger side here, and therefore, me picking them as a banker should try and create that big old cushion that I managed to develop for myself.
Well, Leeds are obviously coming off the back of a defeat to Millwall in midweek, and Daniel Farke has revealed some of his players were in tears after that game. Justin, he says some of the younger players in particular were really struggling to process that game, and I suppose that says something about the pressure that Leeds are under in general, but particularly right now with just 3 wins in 7, because the standards are very high there, Justin. This is not up to the standards that everyone is expecting of Leeds. Yeah,
pressure or a midweek defeat, or actually not a midweek defeat, but a midweek game at the Den. That would also reduce me to tears. It's quite an intimidating place, intimidating atmosphere, if you like. But I wouldn't know if it's a worrying statement or not. You can only tell that with the reaction they give. Obviously, if they go and lose to QPR on Saturday afternoon, then that pressure you can tell is very much it's there. It's present because tears after a midweek game in November. Whilst I appreciate the passion and the love the players clearly have, it's a bit much, I think, at this stage in the season.
I don't know. I don't know what it was necessarily down to, whether it was just the manner of the defeat, whether it was them being so upset about losing. I don't know. But it shows that they're clearly feeling that pressure, whatever the case, because as we say, the standards are high there, and they need to get back on that horse, don't they? Whether they do that against QPR this weekend, we'll wait and see. My banker for this weekend is Derby County to win at home to Plymouth Argyle on Saturday afternoon. This is interesting because it's, of course, the Wayne Rooney derby. Yes, that is right. Wayne Rooney's first trip back to Derby after getting relegated with them in 2022. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of reception he gets. But look, this is a very simple home v away scenario. Plymouth are absolutely appalling on their travels. They've won just 1 point from their 7 away games this season, scored 1, conceded 16 from 7 games. Wow. Their most recent was away at Leeds. Of course, Leeds is a difficult place to go. I don't think anyone's denying that, but they failed to have a single shot in that game. And Derby away is a difficult place to go as well. Only 4 teams have won more points than Derby, or more points per game, I should say, than Derby at home this season. 13 points from an available 18 at Pride Park for the Rams. And they've proven on plenty of occasions to be a difficult team to break down. Plymouth could really struggle with that. They struggled to do it at home to bottom of the league Portsmouth in midweek. I think missing Ibrahim Sissoko is such a huge problem for them going forwards. So against a stubborn Derby County defence, I definitely fancy a Derby win on Saturday. Justin, do you agree with me?
I mean, if Plymouth approach with the same attitude against Leeds, then certainly it's going to be a game where it's going to be one of those one-sided fixtures once again. But I think there probably should be a word of caution for Derby. And again, there are a lot of intangibles working on this one. You got Morgan Whittaker going to his former club. He's going to get booed by the Derby supporters for whatever reason. And then obviously you've got Wayne Rooney needing to prove a point as well, because he got Derby relegated, and there might be some fans who don't take kindly to that. And I think Wayne Rooney's got a little bit of a point to prove, and this is the first occasion in Wayne Rooney's managerial career where he's going up against a former side, which again just adds to the uncertainties, if you like, going into this one.
So they remind Justin's 2 bankers for this weekend, and every week we combine these 2 selections with a bet on the full-time result of our game of the weekend to create our very own second-tier feature multiple with SBK. We've been in pretty good form with these recently, so let's see if we can keep that up. This week we are going for Derby, Leeds and Sheffield United, all to win. And this weekend, SBK offering another 20% ACCA boost for the Championship. They've been very generous this season, ladies and gents. Make sure you take them up on that generosity. And our £10 bet on our multiple returns £40 with SBK. You can create your own multiple with 3 or more bets on the full-time results of any game from across the Championship. And for any ACCA with a minimum of 3 selections, you'll get a 20% boost. That offer expires at 3 p.m. on Saturday. T's and C's apply, over 18s only, and please gamble responsibly. It's outsider time, ladies and gents. Justin, kick things off for us here.
I've gone with Bristol City to win away at Norwich on Saturday afternoon. This is a risky one because Norwich's home record is phenomenal. They've gone now an entire calendar year without losing at Carrow Road. That's an incredible feat. But the Robins are going to come in and absolutely. What do birds do? Do they fight? Do birds scrap?
They like fly down, swoop down, and flap the wings a lot.
They're going to fuck up the
Robins
Canaries.
feed the Canaries.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that one.
Yeah.
But look, more on the football. Bristol City's performances for me have been incredibly positive for me. In recent weeks. Do think they were looking midweek to Sheffield United. I think the Rob Dickie sending off to change the game significantly, because for the first 75 minutes, that should give them plenty of confidence. And like I said, Carrow Road is a fortress, but Norwich have been on a very bumpy run of form of late. And you couple that with a bit of an injury crisis, I do fancy Bristol City getting a result here. Whether or not it's enough to get a win and 3 points, that's why it's an outsider. But as I say, all those variables that Norwich are having to contend with, the injuries, the lack of form, Boy Signs could well be that difference maker in this game. But they've gone down from having several players available who can make a difference to just potentially just Boy Signs, which is a big problem. And I think Bristol City have got a little bit more to their armoury than Norwich heading into this one at the moment. So yes, Bristol City to win away at Norwich for me.
Yeah, bit of an injury crisis is quite underselling it, I think, Justin. The injury, it's a massive injury crisis. It's quite ridiculous how crazy it's been. It's really evolved in the space of a couple of weeks, hasn't it? 11 players out injured. Johannes Hoff Turup has admitted it's the worst he's experienced in his managerial career. Angus Gunn, Marcelino Nunes. The most notable one, though, is Josh Sargent, who it's been revealed this week will be out until the new year. And that in particular is a gigantic blow for them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, Josh Sargent is going for his annual couple of months off during the autumn-winter period, which, joking aside, is very frustrating for him, I imagine, and also for Norwich City, who, as we saw last season, David Wagner had to do a real job in adjusting his team while he was out injured. I don't think Thorpe will have to do the very same thing because he's got a bit more facets to this Norwich side than Wagner did. But when you're losing a player of Josh Sargent's quality, yes, he's not scored as many goals as he's capable of, but he's been such a key component in how that system works for Norwich. And similarly with Angus Gunn, to be honest with you, that composure of playing out from the back and obviously his goalkeeping abilities, it's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. Kenny McLean, I think, is suspended going into this one as well. So, yeah, it really does add up for Norwich. And I think with that, I would expect them to struggle for consistency between now and the new year.
Yeah, well, they desperately need the new signings they made in the summer to step up now, don't they? Ante Cernak's the one I look at the most. Cost £9 million. Still yet to really do too much in a Norwich shirt, but considering the fee, I imagine Norwich will be particularly looking for him to step up, and a couple of others as well, because they desperately need them, especially with their form dipping and Boys Sainz just scoring from pot shots every so often. You need a bit more than that, don't you? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Norwich get on and see whether they can hold on to their brilliant home record. My outsider for this weekend, Coventry City to win away at Sunderland on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, I will admit I made this pick before Mark Robins was sacked. I actually made it before they lost to Derby in midweek as well, so not ideal. But I do stand by my picks when I make them, unlike certain people on this podcast.
You're such a scumbag.
Not wanting to name any names, of course. How do I justify this now? Well, look, Coventry seem to have turned a corner with impressive wins against Luton and Middlesbrough. Genuinely very impressive results, which made the loss to Derby in midweek all the more surprising, as well as Mark Robins' sacking, obviously. So it's going to be fascinating to see how they respond here. Maybe we'll see a positive response. Rhys Carr will be in interim charge for this game, who's one of the first-team coaches at Coventry. So we'll see how he gets on. And obviously going up to Sunderland is a big test. But Sunderland haven't had a great few days, Justin. Goalless draws away at QPR and Preston. By no means two of the strongest sides in the league. And it's got to be said, they were second best in both of those games. It was a bit strange, really. Not what you'd expect from this Sunderland team. I don't think it's a cause for alarm by any means, but there does seem to have been a bit of a dip. No Joe Bellingham could be a factor in that. He's been suspended for those two games and will be for this one as well. Has arguably been their best player this season. So it's undoubtedly a big miss. A couple of other players have picked up a couple of injuries recently as well. So, yeah, look, I will be honest, I'd be more confident in this pick if Derby hadn't have beaten Coventry in midweek. I'd also be more confident if they hadn't have sacked Mark Robins. But Coventry certainly have the talent to hurt Sunderland, so it's entirely plausible. And I'll stick by this pick, even though I'm not as sure as I was earlier in the week.
Yeah, that's why I leave my picks until later on in the week when we've got the midweek games out of the way.
And then change them.
No. You stop making up narratives, all right? This is ridiculous conjecture, unbelievable. But yeah, I think sacking a manager can have an adverse effect or a positive effect on the team sometimes, where they immediately respond, and that could happen with Sunderland. Now, you are right; they have had a little bit of a dip in Sunderland, but they've set the standard so highly so far this season that 2-0 draws, not the worst results in the world. Get 2 clean sheets, you got to take positives from it. Those high standards make any result that isn't a win make it look a little bit, oh god, they're on a bit of a wobble. But this is the game to answer that. This is the game to say to everybody else that we're not on a wobble. They were two positive results. We followed it with a win. So yeah, it's an interesting one. And as I say, those variables that we're talking about with Mark Roberts being sacked does add that uncertainty. You can have a team react positively, or the man that the team knows and loves is gone, and they don't have anyone to hug them after the game anymore, and that could really impact things.
Yeah, well, we've spoken at length about Mark Robbins' sacking out Coventry in our reaction episode yesterday. If you haven't heard that yet, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you to listen to it to get our thoughts on what was certainly a shocking decision yesterday. But since we last spoke, Justin, The Guardian is reporting Coventry have already made an inquiry to Wycombe about the availability of their manager, Matt Bloomfield. He currently has them sat top of League One with 9 wins from 13 games. What do you think of that link, Justin?
It is a bit of a strange link. I do think he's done a good job in taking over from a long-term stalwart in Gareth Ainsworth. I mean, when we're talking about Mark Robbins in our reaction episode, we spoke about the need for for Coventry to get that appointment right, because it's so difficult to do that for a long-term predecessor. It's very hard to get that. But Wycombe have done it with Matt Bloomfield. But I think the only question I would ask is, if Coventry are looking to deliver Premier League football, should they be looking above League One for a manager in that sense? That might be doing Matt Bloomfield a disservice here. But I don't think he's got a track record that suggests that to be the case. He's not even experienced promotion at a lower league level. And in addition to that, Doug King's philosophy is very much he wants to develop players and he wants to sell them for a profit. Matt Bloomfield is yet to have a significant track record of doing that. So again, it's just a bit of a strange link. I'm a touch sceptical with it. I do think they would benefit, cliched with us anyway, from someone with a little bit more experience than maybe Matt Bloomfield.
Yeah, when I first saw this link, Justin, I was sceptical as well. But the more I've thought about it and the more I've read up on Matt Bloomfield, the more I'm on board. Before I get on to why, I've got to say it's funny how quickly things can change in football, because Matt Bloomfield very nearly lost his job at the start of this year because Wycombe were on a honking run where they only won 1 from 17. And look, he's a legend at Wycombe, but many fans were asking whether he's just not ready for management yet. But they stuck by him, and he turned it around massively, winning 10 of their final 18 games of last season. And then this season, they've had a ridiculous start. Top of the league, 9 wins from 13. And the underlying data shows they've genuinely been the best team in League One so far, including Birmingham City, by the way. He plays fast, direct football, which I think would suit Coventry. My concern would be, and it's kind of what you're alluding to, Justin, do we need to see more proof in the pudding with him? Just because it's such a big call, sacking Mark Robbins, that they have to be absolutely sure with whoever they're getting next, don't they, Justin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would add that Matt Bloomfield is a very likeable personality. And that does go with something. I think he's incredibly committed to Wycombe as well, which again speaks a lot about his character. But it's just whether or not he's got that experience to take Coventry where Coventry, I think, really want to go. And again, you alluded to that poor run of form last season. That was his first full season in management, and it came with a pretty poor spell of form. And so we're yet to see a really convincing year from him, if you like. So I think that's the other thing you got to take with a pinch of salt. But if Coventry do pick him, there are a lot of likeable characteristics about him that you can point towards, and maybe the club need it, or maybe the club. Matt Bloomfield's a very likeable guy. He's a very approachable person, and so too with Mark Robbins. He did look a bit miserable on the sidelines, but he was very much the good cop to AD Vivesh's bad cop in that coaching setup of old at Coventry. So, do they need someone a bit more of a sterner? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how this link develops over the next couple of days.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether, I assume they'll make an appointment in the international break, so we'll get our answers sooner rather than later, I imagine, Justin. Right, those are our predictions for the weekend, and you know what time it is, ladies and gents.
All right. Settle down, you lot. It's time for the Craig Bryson pub quiz.
Yes, it is, Mr. Barman. It's the Craig Bryson pub quiz, and this is how it works. Justin is going to give me 6 clues about a championship player, past or present, each more revealing than the next, and I simply have to guess who it is. They must have made over 200 championship appearances in their career, and don't forget, the Dexter Blackstock rule is in play. So what have you got for me, Justin Peach, you bastard?
I've got a good one. First clue is I've made 247 appearances, scoring 31 goals.
Ooh, has he really?
Yeah.
That's quite a few goals, actually. I'll go with Paul Anderson.
Paul Anderson. He doesn't eclipse the Dexter Blackstock rule. No way. It's not Paul Anderson.
Yeah, with you, Justin, it's always a bit close, so you never really know.
Next clue is I made my debut in the Championship in 2009, age 20, before retiring in 2021, age 31. I was not injured.
That's very young.
Oh. The bonus clue here is I made 21 appearances in the Premier League in my final season.
Oh. That's very peculiar. In 2021?
2021. It feels a long time ago now.
That's properly thrown me a little bit. I am really struggling to come up with anyone who fits that mould. I'll move on, Justin.
You'll move on.
If that's all right.
Ooh. The next clue is I've scored a goal that was nominated for the FIFA Puskás Award.
Has he really? Right, that's interesting because I keep a close eye on them because I do enjoy them quite a lot. I can't think of many British players who have been nominated for them.
An assumption.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're British, does it? No one's really coming to mind. The thing is with the FIFA Puskás Awards, there always seems to be a goal from Ireland in there, doesn't there? So I can't get that out of my head. There always seems to be some sort of worldie from the League of Ireland where some guys backheeled it from 20 yards out or something like that to the top bin. And that's all I can think of now.
Not very British.
I'm going to move on, but I think you may have cocked up with that mistake because I reckon that's going to be a big thing for me. May have made a rod for my own back here, but here we go. Next one, please.
This is the 4th clue. You've got 2 left after this one, Ryan.
Can I have some bloody clue? Can I have some clubs, please?
I represented just 2 clubs at Championship level, which include West Brom and Reading.
Okay. West Brom and Reading. That's a curious one. No, I was going to say Gabriel Tamas, but he's not scored 31 goals, has he? I'll say him anyway, because no one's really jumping to mind here.
The man is loving his Romania save so much. He's just plucking old Championship Romanian players out of the air. Gabriel Tamas is not it's not Gabriel Tamas. I do think he did take penalties, to be fair to you, but not 31. It's not Tamas.
It's just got to be mentioned, isn't it, really?
It's definitely not Tamas because this player played a pivotal role in Wales's run to the Euro 2016 semi-final.
In whose?
Wales.
Wales? I assume that's the next clue, is it?
That is the next clue, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't state that, but you may have just been saying it. Pivotal run in Wales's run in Euro 2016? That's... Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, now I know who it is. Yeah. I mean, I said this 2 weeks ago, and I got it completely wrong, didn't I? But he really retired at 31.
Yeah,
that seems a bit mad, but it's Hal Robson-Kanu, isn't it?
It is Hal Robson-Kanu.
Yeah.
You got there before the final clue.
I assume the goal which was nominated for the Puskás Award was that one where he did the Cruyff turn, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Cruyff turn against Belgium.
As as it's since been renamed since, the Robson Kanu turn. Because the number of times I saw that bloody goal replayed was absolutely ridiculous. Also, got to be said, 30 goals in 200 and appearances for a striker is an interesting return.
He was a winger.
He played up front a lot for West Brom, didn't he? He helped get them promoted, didn't he?
He did.
He was a fairly decent player, actually. I'm surprised he didn't get another club after leaving West Brom. Or was that because of injury?
It was because, and this is the final clue, he created something of a turmeric shot empire.
I was gonna say that was the other thing I was gonna ask you. He's doing quite well, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's partnered with a lot of football clubs, but he created this empire because he used turmeric as a nutritional supplement to save his career following a knee ligament rupture earlier on within it. So now he's a turmeric king of football, maybe even the UK. Actually, I don't actually know. That'd be interesting to delve into a little bit more. But yeah, he was a free agent for a while, and then I think he just focused on his business interests, and that is why he's now up to his neck in turmeric.
Fair play to him. Fair play to the guy, Justin. Sometimes all we want is a bit of turmeric in our lives. But if he's happy doing that, then I wish him the best. Do you?
No, I do. Turmeric's very good for your joints. Definitely take it, guys.
It really gets, when you put it in a curry or something, really gets behind your fingernails, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just stain. So don't wear white.
No, don't ever shake Hal Robson Carnew's hand because he's always got yellow fingernails.
Yellow hands.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's got to be pointed out, we're still yet to get a Craig Bryson pub quiz wrong so far this season. And I nearly got just a picture of last week with Massimo Luongo being the Ballon d'Or nominee at one stage. But we're doing pretty well with the old Craig Bryson pub quizzes this season, and we've done pretty well with our picks this season as well, certainly recently anyway. So let's see if that continues this weekend, ladies and gents, because that's been the Second-Tier Preview Show brought to you by SBK, and we'll of course be back again on Sunday to give you all the reaction to the weekend's results, especially the Steel City derby.